there. I'll talk very specifically about Upwork because we hire a lot of people, freelancers off our own platform. I oversee an org that's probably about 300 people, about half of whom are freelancers that are plugged in. And I think Upwork is, in many ways, a picture of the future of work or a modern corporation.
Dave, welcome to the Future Work Podcast. Really great to have you here today. And I'm very excited to hear what you've got to say about the future of work.
Well, thanks for having me, Frank. It's a topic that's near and dear to our hearts here at Upwork.
Well, Upwork's been a leader in that category for a long time. I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but I am actually. I've known the company since it was started, and I've always admired the work that you do. So, congratulations on that. And congratulations on your new products you've got coming up.
Thanks very much. We're very excited about our Upwork updates. Twice a year, we basically package up all the new features and capabilities that we've rolled out and go to market and talk about them with our focus on clients or small businesses, small and medium-sized businesses that are hiring on Upwork, as well as freelancers that are finding work on the platform. A lot of good stuff in our latest update.
I don't want to get ahead of myself because I kind of had prepared for this a little bit, but I'm going to. And updates are cool. Updates are great. Tweaks are fabulous. But it's the trends behind them, the issues that have come up. And I know in the last 6 months, 20, 12 months or so, the changes in the employment picture have been radical. Um, and so, what are some of the trends that you're seeing that caused you to think of the updates or think about updating what you're doing in general? And don't be shy about AI either, because we got to deal with it.
Well, AI is certainly one of the big trends that I'm sure are hearing about all across the industry. And it's one of the things that when I think about kind of the mega trends of the last couple of years, one was certainly COVID and distributed work became much more the norm. And post-pandemic, coming out of it, still very much the norm. Globally distributed workforces collaborating asynchronously. And we still have kind of the trend of companies debating return to work versus work from home and distributed workforce. That's kind of like one mega trend. Couple that with the acceleration of innovation that's really happening as a result of AI and Gen AI bursting onto the scene about 2 years ago. And we really wanted to kind of get in front of that and understand what AI could do for our customers, both clients and freelancers on our platform, and start evolving Upwork from a talent marketplace really to a place where you, number one, can find AI talent for projects that you want to hire for if you're a client. And number two, how would we improve the matching process between clients and talent using AI by automating some of the capabilities and some of the traditional ways of finding and sourcing and hiring talent on our platform?
Well, I know every major human resources company is deep into the AI pool right now, because the stream and the number of applicants that need to be filtered in order to get just the right person is staggering. The work that had to be done manually, and companies like IBM's This Way Global Group that they're working with are doing a ton of that outside. How does that relate to freelancers, though?
Well, freelancers are trying to market themselves as individuals and trying to stand out on the platform, and they can do that in a couple of ways. um, their reputation on the platform, how they've earned, how we like to think in terms of kind of hard skills. Do they have the skills to do the job? And soft skills. Are they good communicators? Are they responsive? Do they respond to proposals or respond to deliverables on specific work projects on time? We're really focused with our use of AI in sort of getting better about the match and getting clients able to kind of hire the right person at the right time. So using AI for things like job posts, getting more accurate around how is your job post going to be discovered by freelancers in our search results, for example. getting freelancers more tools to write effective proposals, because we've seen years and years of effective proposals on the platform, and we kind of know what helps those proposals stand out. So helping using AI to help freelancers win work.
Well,
Um,
that one thing, if I can interrupt, allows your freelancers to put out more proposals too,
yeah,
which assures them of a higher level of job security.
yeah, they want to save time. They want to spend time working on projects, not necessarily working to win the work, if you
Yeah.
will.
Yeah.
So, to your point, the more effectively they can craft customized proposals based on the jobs that they're bidding on, the more we can kind of help them spend their time working, not just looking for work.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I'm a sailor. You can tell from my background, and people have referred to me as a pirate at times. And I have this vision of a parrot on my shoulder and "Arr, matey," and all that kind of thing, right? I won't hire a freelancer or I won't hire a new employee unless they have an AI bot on their shoulder. Unless
Yeah.
they come with a virtual AI assistant, or I can create a virtual AI assistant for their job description, we won't create a job and we won't hire somebody, whether
Mm.
they're a freelancer or not. How are you? And I know this is probably a difficult question, but how is Upwork equipping their freelancers with tools of that nature so honestly, your freelancers could be more effective than anybody else's freelancers, so to speak? Uh,
Hmm.
how are you doing that? Because I can't be the only nasty old guy in the world that says that's the way to be most productive.
Well, I think you're not. You're probably on the early adopter side of the curve, but we are thinking about. We've developed what started as kind of an AI companion called UMA, or which is short for Upwork's Mindful AI.
Good, 'cause I thought
To
it was Uma Thurman and she was going to sue you.
Yeah, no, it's not the David Letterman at the Oscars, Oprah meet Uma. It stands for Upworks Mindful AI. Started really as a companion, so helping clients, for example, create job posts, helping talent create proposals, and it's kind of evolving more into the agentic realm, if you will, like that agent that sits on your shoulder, so that talent can use Uma to actually help do and deliver the work, or collaborate with clients to do some of the things like getting alignment on milestones. Uh, Uma is powering a new feature that we're releasing called instant interviews. So Uma might actually do the sourcing for you and bring you back the best candidates for a job that you post.
Hmm.
Um, Uma is also doing some of the heavy lifting behind a new feature that we're releasing around Upwork video meetings. So just like you and I are talking in real time right now, Uma's in the background transcribing and
Right.
taking down what are the milestones that we agreed on, what is the pricing that we agreed on, what is the first deliverable, and what is the deadline for that, and then packaging it not only in a transcript of what we talked about, but into milestones that we can use almost as a contract for how we're going to work together on a project.
Well, there are other um, tools that perform that service, but none that I know of that are built into a single interactive system for a freelancer and their sponsor, if you will. That could be hugely valuable because I know one of the big problems that we've had with freelancers is not picking somebody who's really good, but making sure everybody stays on track to what we've agreed to without fretting over it. You can do it, but it can be a lot of work. So if you've simplified that, then that's a big step forward, not just for you guys, but really for the way the industry has to react to that and the world has to react to that from a freelancer point of view, which we know is an increasing population, not a decreasing population.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I mean, increasing population, we think we're on the right side of a mega trend there. More people want the flexibility to work when they want to work and how they want to work with their expertise. And as the largest talent marketplace on the planet, we think we're providing a lot of opportunities to freelancers to do that, and using AI, to your earlier point, to try and make it more efficient for freelancers to find work, and make it more efficient for clients to hire on the platform, so that you're getting the right matches much faster, and you're spending time actually doing and delivering the work, rather than trying to drive the match.
Well, I don't know if I'm getting into an edgy area here, so stop stop me if I am. But technology doesn't recognize borders. It doesn't
Right.
recognize where you are at all, unless you're in China, and then you're on a different service system. But basically, technology does not recognize borders. Um, Not recognizing borders gets into a whole variety of issues, though, when it comes to employment, taxes, different things, employment rules, employee rights, all variety of things that can come up culturally, area by area, government by government, etc. How are you dealing with that? How are you helping freelancers deal with that, and people that want to employ them, so that they recognize, I can employ anybody anywhere. I don't have to worry about it. And I'm not trying to pitch your product, but this is a concern that a lot of people have, and a lot of people that come into the flexible workspace industry, maybe they'll take an office. Maybe they're based in London. They'll take an office in Accra, and the reason they do it is because they don't have to employ anybody there.
Mm.
But they really didn't have to employ anybody there to begin with, because they could have used your system as a freelancer and have their own offices instead of a flexible workspace if they wanted to. There's a
Mm-hmm.
whole variety of things that could happen. So long question, but how well does that function, or is that something that people still need to be educated about, and how they can overcome the concerns about things of that nature?
I'm not an employment lawyer, and I don't specialize in compliance, but I do know two things that you mentioned. One, there are markets that you can hire in, and markets that you may want to hire into as a client, because you want to expand your talent pool to be global, and you can find great talent in many markets, right? Some clients prefer to hire U.S. only employees, for example, and you can filter and search on the platform and restrict to certain markets, and that may be for a variety of reasons, for streamlining collaboration, or for just being in the same time zone. For knowing that you're going to have communication will be better with a native English speaker than someone who's got English as a second or third language. But for those that do want to hire in other markets, we try and make it easy. There are certain markets that are restricted, obviously, but freelancers on the platform are identity verified, and we want to make sure that you are who you say you are, and that if you're applying for a contract, that you can actually do the work. And so we are providing the service of contract between client and freelancer in a way that protects the freelancer so they can get paid, but also protects the client in terms of compliance with local employment law.
Well, so a few years ago, just pre-pandemic, everything, everybody talked about the gig economy, et cetera, a term that I know you're familiar with from your background. Um, and other companies that had very short, small, little gigs were very popular. What I'm seeing today is more of a fractional economy, I'll call it, to where
Mm,
people are a freelancer, but they're not doing tasks. They're holding 3 jobs or 4
mm,
jobs on a permanent basis, uh,
mhm,
with multiple companies where they have a specialty. And this is in a lot of, I have friends that a CTO, and he works for 3 different companies, and they're all global Fortune 500 companies. Uh,
mm.
but he works for three of them in an advisory perspective. How do you see the short-term one-task gig running through to fractional within the the freelance sector? Is this a trending issue or is it stabilizing? How do you see the relationship between the freelancer and the job? Is it uh, 1 hour a month or 40 hours, 60 hours? And is it a permanent freelancing job where uh, the freelance is really the financial structure as opposed to the um, really what the work involves?
Yeah, I mean, I think you see the whole spectrum on a platform like Upwork, but from hourly work to project-based work, and eventually, like we're experimenting with even outcomes-based work, where the work would be priced on the delivery of a more complex project that might require multiple people. Build me
Uh-huh.
a website. I need a designer. I need an engineer. I need an SEO expert. But the outcome is that you get a website built. I think to your point around fractionals, that is a trend among really seasoned kind of experts. You use the example of a CTO. We have fractional CFOs, people that are consultants that might work for multiple companies on a retainer, and freelancing gives them more flexibility
Mhm.
to do that. And they might work on a time-based contract where it's 3 months or 6 months rather than an hourly project like design me a logo for my website, which might be 5 hours worth of work and priced per hour. So we do see the spectrum, but I think increasingly where we see value and where we can create value for customers is kind of moving up the value chain, if you will, to the more complex work that requires um, maybe multiple months or multiple types of talent to be pulled into one complex project. And increasingly, either us doing it or Uma doing it, acting as a virtual project manager, if you will, and being able to kind of not only find and hire the right talent on your behalf at the time that you need it, but making sure that that talent comes into play at the right part of the project so that you're delivering toward an outcome, if you will.
Well, when you think of and angelic AI as an example, how is AI included with the job need description, et cetera, working out? Is this something that's really becoming more and more additive, or is it something that is still uh, partially still yet to be explored? I guess I'll say.
Yeah, I would say we're at the beginning of our journey and our transition from thinking about Uma as a companion to tasks that you would normally do on a platform like Upwork, like posting a job. Uma can help you write the job post and make sure that the right tags are inserted so that it's picked up in search and whatnot. That's kind of a companion example, or writing a proposal, like I talked about earlier on the freelance side, is kind of the Uma is being a companion, but it's still the human or the freelancer that is aiming to be hired. The more places and the more use cases that we're supporting across the platform, the smarter Uma is becoming around what people's actual intent is. And I think it's becoming more agentic in that way, or will evolve to become more agentic, meaning if it understands what your intent is and what you're trying to do or accomplish on the platform, it can act on your behalf and find you the right talent that's going to drive the outcomes that you're looking for as a client. Similarly, on the freelancer side, and it almost sounds like a Hollywood colloquialism or something to say that everybody's got a talent agent, but the fact of Uma scanning jobs that are posted and looking for jobs that might be appropriate for you, or what types of jobs you've done in the past or you might like to bid on, and sending job alerts or notifications when those become available, and acting kind of as a broker between talent and clients to get work started on the platform. So I think we're seeing this evolution from companion to more of an orchestrator of work, if you will, as Uma becomes more agentic over time.
Well, I mean, we're seeing that in all other walks of life. I mean, Spotify recommends things for you to listen to, and Netflix tells you what you should be watching because they know what you did watch, and they're
Hmm.
analyzing you as a customer, as a user, and there's no reason why you wouldn't reverse that to your customer, which in many respects, your customer is the talent as much as it is the person seeking to hire the talent. In fact, I would
Hmm.
say that your primary customer is the talent. That's the point of the spear for you guys, or companies of your nature overall, I would assume.
Well, we certainly want to attract the best talent and do so in categories where there's high demand. And so we're seeing a lot of demand for AI talent, for example. And so being the premier destination, the place that you go when you want to start an AI project, and knowing that you can find a world-class machine learning engineer or a data scientist or an expert at using an AI tool that the rest of your development team is using already, and you want to kind of grow or expand or extend your team. So that's one dimension, is sort of like being attractive enough to the talent, because we have the jobs and we have the demand that's coming in. At the same time, it's kind of a that's why it's the beauty of a two-sided marketplace. The appeal to clients is that we have the talent. The appeal to the talent is that we have the client demand, and our magic sauce, if you will, is that we want to get more and more efficient at matching demand and supply together on the marketplace.
Well, it's interesting. A study I read, it's a couple of years ago now, so the numbers won't be quite right, but it was about $1 billion kind of unicorns that would go into the public, $1 billion companies. And the first one was one of the U.S. railroads, and it had like 35,000 employees or something like that. And it kept winding every 10 years, the number of employees down. And the last one that I saw, which I know has got to be out of date now, $1 billion company has 16 people in it.
Mm.
So I'm wondering, why don't you and I build a company and we have a great idea, and it has no employees.
No full-time employees. No, like regular.
It has no, technically, it has no employees. It has
Yeah.
contracts, but can I contract an entire company's organizational structure and manage it through Upwork? Is that some weird fantasy of mine?
Well, that's a vision of the future that we talk about, the unicorn solopreneur, is that you can imagine an entrepreneur with a big idea who wants to scale that idea and take it to market and grow a business really aggressively. I think that is a future that's not too far off, where you have a solopreneur who can hire, everything from finance and HR expertise to manage projects. Maybe you don't even need HR if you don't have any full-time employees, but you hire developers, and through the combination of developers and agents, I still think you want to have the human element of the freelancer, who's kind of the expert in the delivery of whatever it is that you're building, but coupled with AI and potentially, the AI amplifying the human potential. You could conceivably hire a freelancer for everything to build your product and go to market and scale that product without ever taking on the full-time employee.
No, I can see that. It's funny. It's as I go back in history, and I've got enough gray hair to do this comfortably.
Mm,
It's real easy for me to remember the development of the intermodal system for just-in-time inventory delivery.
mm,
Okay, and how radically that changed supply chain management globally. Um,
mhm.
and then I come a step further and I look at our other company, which is in the virtual office business. And I think, well, it's really just in time real estate, as needed, where needed, when needed. Um, and so the model for that has already been built on an industrial grade basis globally.
Mm.
It seems that we're just getting around to it with the employment structure. And so my question is, why has it taken so long, do you think?
Well, I think increasingly we're talking about digital labor doing digital work and delivering digital products. So things like mobile apps or websites are kind of the typical digital products of today, and you don't necessarily need to be sitting in the same zip code to produce them. I think we are a lot more of a dynamic labor market today, in that you can hire people, or increasingly looking at people that can connect these agentic work streams to automate a lot of the workflows, to do work delivery much in the same way you talk about like supply chain management in just in time. So when in the digital world, you have a lot more ability to reduce friction that exists, that you might see in the physical world when you're moving and shipping goods around.
No, absolutely. I think that's right. But I guess the world that you're dealing with, again, it seems like we should have gotten to this place sooner. And I'm wondering what were the roadblocks
Mm.
that really keep us from that? Is it our human nature that we love to work together in a team where we're all together, and that says back to the office in some respects? Or is it fear of independence as opposed to being a codependent with others in a company? What keeps people from becoming freelancers, and what keeps people from hiring more of them, freelancers?
Well, I think you're hitting on a couple of the norms that are being challenged in an age where a lot of work can be delivered in a distributed way. And I say distributed not just geographically, but distributed between human freelancers and agents that can automate certain workflows and whatnot. That
Mhm.
requires a mental shift on sort of how you're going to do work and how you're going to deliver value for customers, whoever they may be. And I think part of the traditional thinking was that teams are co-located in the same space, and they live and work together. And I think that got dramatically accelerated by the pandemic, when everybody was working from home, and it became a norm for companies to look at a global workforce rather than a local workforce. I think the other trend on the other side of the coin is you've got big corporations that are reducing their footprint, and a number of attractive facets of freelancing. I think people that start freelancing and realize they can manage doing just the work that they enjoy doing, and that can take projects that they want to do, and can not have to commute or sit in an office or deal with some of the challenges of working in a big company. It's kind of liberating. And so you see not just side work or kind of moonlighting odd jobs and everything, but people that are actually earning their full living by freelancing and working for some of the same clients over and over, or finding new work in new areas.
No, I think we see that more and more, and it's uh, absolutely accepted. I think as per, freelancing is almost a profession now, in many respects. Um, what do you believe culturally that creates? Do you think it's for the individual? Can oftentimes be a work life balance, but if a company decides to go 50% freelance, you have 100 employees, you decide 50% of them are to be freelance because of hours or location or skill set or thing. How does that change the culture in a company? Does it does it even strengthen it perhaps? Is your experience or your viewpoint on that?
Well, I won't talk generically there. I'll talk very specifically about Upwork, because we eat our own dog food, and we hire a lot of people, freelancers, off our own platform. I oversee an org that's probably about 300 people, about half of whom are freelancers that are plugged in. And I think Upwork is, in many ways, a picture of the future of work, or a modern corporation that has certain functions that can be freelance and certain functions that are full time employees. but we're geographically dispersed, and we have product teams that are made up of product managers and engineers and designers that sit in different places, and some may be full-time employees and some may be freelancers. But we have a very productive, I would say, engineering culture, even though we hire a lot of engineers from all over the world, and have them collaborate and build the features and capabilities like we're announcing with Uma. They're building all these workflows, and very rarely, I can't think of a single team I have where they're sitting in the same zip code or the same building.
No, I think that's the way we've always been a remote first company for,
Hmm.
I'll say, almost 45 years now. I
Hmm.
believe that you hire the best people regardless of their location, and you don't force people to move their families, and you don't do a whole lot of things that are disruptive and add overhead as well. Honestly, um,
Hmm.
um, in the future, I'm going to ask you one question as we start to run on timing here. Where do you think that approach, distributed work, remote distributed work supported primarily by freelancers. Where do you think we're going in the next 3 to 5 years with Uma's crystal ball?
Well, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, we believe that most of the work is going to be AI augmented in some way, shape, or form.
Okay, so paradigm shoulder.
Yeah, I think we believe in the human creativity and taste and touch, and having the human in the loop to guide and steer the work. But a lot of the agents will be delivering on some of the routine autonomous tasks that need to get done. And the smart freelancers are figuring out the best ways that they can work with these agents. We're making a lot of investments in house on AI, and doing things like training custom models on our historical data and building the infrastructure so that agents can work on behalf of both clients and talent in our marketplace. And I think, work is just going to get accelerated. You're going to be able to do things in, 2 days that you used to do in 2 months or 2 weeks anyway. And the work's going to get a lot more fluid, more personalized, more catered to the specific outcome that you're trying to drive. And the platforms that are going to be successful are the ones that really combine human creativity with the infrastructure and intelligence to allow agents to do their thing. So, we think Uma's kind of the beginning of evolving into this agent that will orchestrate work, but you're still going to need humans on one side that demand work to be done, and experts on the other side that are guiding and steering the delivery of that work that is being delivered by the AI agents.
Well, I'll ask one last question then, Dave. If I can do the work in 2 days that it used to take me 2 weeks to do, as you just said, is there going to be enough work to go around? Number one. Uh,
Yeah.
and I use our own IT team. I was shocked the other day. I just completely gobsmacked, as they say in the UK. Our CTO said, "Do you have anything for our guys to do?" And usually we're like 6 months behind,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
evolved through a whole variety of new tools. And magically, all of the technology debt, which we refer to as the stuff that hasn't been finished yet or complete, it was all done.
uh, yeah.
And so I'm wondering, are we going to progress so far that we don't have enough to actually do, and we use it all up, all that extra time with leisure time, and we don't progress as a society or as a world society? Or are there so many things that could, should, would be done that will have magic advancement as a global society?
Well, I don't subscribe to your portion of that future where, we become a leisure society. I think there's always I've been doing software development in Silicon Valley for a long time, and
And
we
totally.
always have more work than we have capacity to do it. So I think the shortage will only be on, do we have enough creative ideas to kind of drive the work, but we're going to have volumes more capacity to get work done, and can get on to the things that always fall below the line in our prioritization. So doing more in the same amount of time is certainly the promise of the future, but having more capacity to work on the really interesting work, the strategic work, or the creative work, or the what if we could do this, and then finding ways to build into a bold vision of what we could do if we had uh, infinite capacity to do it. Nobody has infinite capacity, but at the same time, like, your IT guys are not going to be sitting around twiddling their thumbs. They're going to find the backlog of things that they didn't get to last year or the year before. They're going to rewrite their code to be faster and more performant. They're going to take down systems that are no longer needed. I think there are a lot of places and ways that if you had excess capacity because it took you 2 days, not 2 weeks, to do something, then we as humans inherently find ways to fill that capacity with creative new ventures.
Well, that's something I'm sure looking forward to, honestly, because there are so many things that our society on a global basis could benefit from if we had more capacity, and we had it, especially if we had it on a cost effective and technology effective basis. That'd be a wonderful future to look at, my friend. Oh,
Fabulous.
uh, well, Dave, thank you very much for your time spent with us today. I know you've got a critical position there at Upwork, and the work that you all are doing is groundbreaking in many respects to the future of work and the way that we will all be working in some way or another, or even are today without knowing it. So I wish you all the luck in the world, and I'm very grateful for your time.
Well, thank you, Frank. It's been a pleasure to talk about the future of work with you and your listeners or your viewers. And just a last plug for Upwork. If you're looking for talent, this is a good place to find whatever you're looking to do.
Well, you know I'm going to
Thanks
have
a lot.
to cut that. You know that.
I know. All
No,
right.
we got it. Thanks, Dave. Talk.
All right. Thanks so much. This was
Bye.
fun. Thanks, Frank.
If it's impacting the future of work, it's in the Future of Work podcast by allwork.space.